A very good evening, friends, connecting from YouTube Live. Welcome to 360 Digit MG. As part of our continued efforts to connect the industry with the academia, today we have an accomplished luminary, Mr. Sai G, who's the CEO of DNP Solutions. It would be inappropriate for me to talk about Mr. Sai G. I would humbly request Mr. Sai Ji to kindly say a few words about himself and also address the gathering today. Mr. Sai Ji.
Thank you, Nitin. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. Good evening, good morning, and which of the time zone you are in. So first of all, thank you for taking your time and attending this session. So my name is Sai, CEO of DNP Software Solutions and based out of Hyderabad. I'd like to talk about today what exactly the enterprise data management trends in the current world and what are the trends that we are actually seeing and how the market trends and industries are really going to talk about it, right? So first, let me talk about a few words about myself, right? So myself, as I said, Sai, and I have 20 plus years of experience in consulting predominantly in data management space that includes data integration, quality, master data management, data governance, and data cataloging, right? So you name it, anything which is related to data. So I've done most of the part that includes like everything end-to-end data management lifecycle, I would say. And typically when we talk about data, right? So nowadays we all know very clearly that we have witnessed and organizations are continually facing challenges with their data. And today's world top priority is information reliability and trusted data exchange because data is critical, data is everywhere, and data is everything, right? So without data, we can't do anything. So if we take a step back and talk about 10 years or 20 years before, we were all talking about structured data. What that means is we talk about a specific data set that's being stored in the database systems or any Excel formats or anything. So nowadays, I think there are lots of tons of data and gigabytes and terabytes of data that is being flowing across the cloud, and at the same time social media. And we are also basically going to basically talk about lots of information data is being getting stored everywhere, multiple places, right? So I would like to talk about first what exactly the master data management and everything. Then we will also walk you through about our company, which is DNP Software, where what kind of different services that we are actually offering with respect to the data management space, and how did we really basically kind of creating the job opportunities for the young professionals, at the same time even for the laterals or experienced professionals, and what are the kind of different services and offerings that what we are doing it from the DNP software point of it. So with that said, let me talk about from the enterprise value perspective. So here are the major challenges that we are seeing, right? So effective business improvement that includes accuracy, agility, and availability of the data, efficiency and cost savings, right? And standards and leanness of the data, risk reduction.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Are you reading out of a presentation?
Yeah, I will be sharing the deck in few minutes. So first, let me give a kind of quick overview about
Okay,
what
fine,
is
fine. I
data.
thought maybe, yeah, fine.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
one, yeah,
absolutely.
quick.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
with that said, yeah, no problem. So with that said, I mean, there is no specific deck that I've created for enterprise data management because everybody now knows data is everywhere, everything. And we just want to talk about how typically data is getting stored these days and what is master data and how this master data is being getting used in multiple organizations and how critical is this master data at an enterprise level perspective. Yeah. So like I said, when we talk about data, right? So data, it could be an integration part of it. It could be a quality of data. It could be a master data. It could be data governance, right? So what are these terminologies? If we talk about it, integration is nothing but when we bring the data from different source systems, be it social media, be it Excel forms, be it structured data, which is stored in databases like Oracle, SQL Server, or anything, and the unstructured data that is nothing but Twitter and social media data, where we will try to put together all these data sets into one unified common format into an integration layer. And further, we will do a data quality where we will try to apply the business and technical rules on top of the data that what we receive. And for that, we will also move the data into the master data post that, right? So what typically master data does is, within the master data, for example, if we receive three different types of records, but they are belongs to the same customer, for example, Sai and Sai Sri and Sri Sai, whatever, right? So with that, these three names are relatively the same record, but they have entered by multiple systems and by multiple data stewards with multiple names per se, right? What typically master data does is, we will get these three records into the master data system, and we will try to put together the match rules to identify whether these three records are belongs to one record or one person or not. If yes, then we are going to merge two records to one record. That means like three records will be merged into a single record. That is nothing but golden record for us. And post which, how exactly this data is being managed and governed at an enterprise level is nothing but we are going to create a governance on top of it. That is nothing but data governance. Okay. So in order to basically try create any master data or any other data related management techniques, what we typically need to understand is that how the data is getting transformed, right, into multiple systems is one thing, and two, variety of the systems of data that we are receiving, and three, when we talk about the data movement or the data transformations, when especially global deployments and global countries, we need to be very, very clear enough about how this data secure and how the privacy and rules that are being applied when we try to move the data from border to borders, right? For example, if there are US users, they don't want to look at the Europe data. Same way, vice versa. Europe users, they don't want to look at the US data. So how do we really secure that data? How do we transform the data? So all these things will be coming under data management space. Okay. So now that I'm assuming we have a fair understanding of what is data and what are the typical data management terminologies like integration, data quality, master data, and data governance. And with that said, how and why we need to have this master data management also, right? So I don't want to talk about broad data quality integration, etc. But today's session, let me focus a little bit on the master data management and what kind of different job opportunities within this MDM space we do have it in this. Okay, so let me try to share my screen now and would like to talk about what exactly DNP software is trying to provide the services. And DNP stands for, it is data nth power. Okay, so we named it as data is exponentially growing, and we have seen a lot of data that is being shared across the multiple systems, as I said. And by 2025, we will be having almost like 46.87 billion data that is being growing, and also CAGR of 19.10. That means like $11 billion is something where typically we are expecting master data businesses getting growing. Yeah. So let me quickly share my screen and talk about what DNP offers and who we are and what type of different services that we are basically providing it. All right. So welcome to DNP. In short, we are calling DNP software as DNP. And the primary and prominent services within the DNP software is consulting, technology, and staffing services. We'll talk about how did we establish the DNP software and who we are and how are we really delivering services and etc. Right? So as the global leading solutions provider, we always think from client's perspective, how do we really make sure that we can help them achieving the improved returns on investments? For example, if they are trying to do any master data program, how do we really help them? And when this ROI will basically start helping them out, right? And always we need to keep remember one thing, that any client MDM program, it is not going to be giving them the returns of investments, not just in a year or so. So MDM is always, it's not a program, it's a process, right? So as and when we have the data and when we eliminate the duplicate records within the MDM process, like I said in my previous example, then once that is being created and that information has to flow to the downstream applications through the visualization reports, be it your Power BI, be it your visualization, any of the tools and technologies that you typically use, once we create that information, then we will be able to move the data for the reporting structure point of it, and then only we will be able to realize the benefit of it. Okay, so with that said, let me talk about what are the different approaches that we are taking. So DNP services, as I said, technology and staffing with our proved advanced methodologies and frameworks. What those are frameworks in nutshell, if I want to talk about it. So we do have a lots of data modeling templates, right? With respect to any kind of data that we are bringing in, we do have the templates for us, and where we are trying to basically partner with multiple vendors like Informatica, it could be SAP, it could be Oracle. And that is where like we are partnering with the vendors, and where we will provide the powerful opportunity to understand the competitive landscape from the vendors, where we are basically trying to provide the best services in the respective sectors, right? So when I say sector or domains and plus the industries, that means it could be your retail industry, it could be banking, it could be life sciences and healthcare, it could be anything. Okay, and to empower the clients, what is the strategy uniquely that we are following in this is, first we would like to understand the power of data, and post which we are trying to design the overall landscape of it, and post which we are trying to create a collaborative approach between the client and plus the DNP software, and finally we will deliver the overall program for them. Okay,
Very sorry, friends. I think we seem to be having some network issues that our guests and so I request your patience. Mr. Sai will be joining very soon. Please kindly wait.
Archana, can you hear me now?
Yeah, yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay, okay, perfect.
Please proceed.
Okay, perfect. Looks like there is some issue with Zoom, so I just joined back. Sorry about that. Okay, so quickly let me share my screen one more time, and then we can get started off it. Okay, all right. So we were discussing about what was the unique strategy and approach that we are taking at DNP. So first step is to understand the client requirement, and post which how do we really design it. And third step would be collaboratively we can design it and we can conduct the workshops, and also we deploy the people at client stakeholders, and finally we will deliver it, right? So this will definitely and truly realizes the value of the data, and we will also look at from the competitive market space what are the different mechanisms that we can definitely help with the clients to see how do we really manage the risks effectively and efficiently while we are focusing on the quality of the data, and plus the program delivery. We will also look at the low cost budgets for our clients with our unique approaches. And how do we really do that is we do have accelerators, solutions, and overall templates and methodology frameworks. By bringing all our assets together with our industry SMEs and architects, we will have the industry focused domain delivery and insightful data solutions. With all of these solutions in one place together, we will see which are the assets and accelerators that are suitable for the client requirements, and that will give them the speed to value and how we can easily like go ahead and start it off it. Okay, so now let me talk about who we are. So as I said, we from Data and Power, which is DNP software, a leading global solutions provider. Predominantly, we've been focusing on data quality, all enterprise data management related techniques and technologies. And we talk about quality, master data, governance technologies with digital innovation. And this is subsidiary of 360 Digi TMG, which has worldwide 50 plus resources, focus of industry, technology, delivering advanced management technologies. So within DNP, we believe in participants that provide the world-class and robust services for our clients. We want customer priority. We always give first priority to the customers and their asks and requirement, and to understand the behavior first. And two, with our innovative, do provide the industry-based and domain-based specific solutions with respect to the technologies. At Innovation Lab, we do have a dedicated resource group where we'll be focusing on it. And three, so trust is always like, we believe in that we cannot simply go and just get that from the customers. By providing the value-based services to clients, we can earn the trust, and trust can always be like, kind of getting it from the customers is definitely providing the value services that definitely gives you up. And speed to value, as I said, by bringing all of our industry-based solutions, we'll be providing the best in time, and at the same time, ahead of time also. In majority of the times, we are going to deliver the solutions for the clients. And what are the different services that we offer at DNP? So consulting, technology, and staffing. So let us talk about what those individually. Consulting services again been divided into three sub areas. Those are strategy, delivery, and infrastructure management. Okay. And from technology services point of it, as I said, we will talk about the different digital transformations and emerging technologies that are related to the architecture, emerging technologies, like for example, cloud related technologies, like for example, Reltio is one of the upcoming technology that's really taking a very good progress in the market. And at the same time, we are also doing the augmented data and AI and ML power based techniques that is related to the master data and data governance. And also we deal with the real-time APIs, and also with the operate and support mode of projects. Okay, so those are from the technology standpoint and the technology services that we do offer. And apart from that, staffing services. So staffing services nowadays, I think with the COVID, we have seen a lot of skill gap, at the same time people and technologies. So by enabling all of these things, we do have by enabling all of these technologies, we do have a lot of yeah. Okay, let me stop sharing it and then we can talk about. Can you see my screen now?
Oh, sorry, friends. We are in touch with the trainer. I believe due to his busy schedule, he was traveling and he had decided to connect from his mobile network. That is probably the problem. We'll just wait for him. I apologize on his behalf.
I'm really sorry about the network connectivity issues. Nitin, can you hear me now? Can we see my screen?
Yes, we are
Okay.
able to hear you.
Yeah, my sincere apologies about that. So yeah, I tried switching it. Now I think it is going to be stable. Okay, so from the third services standpoint, staffing is the another area where we are trying to address the talent issues like skill gap and people and technology by enabling strategic adoption into this current world, right? So as we are seeing earlier, we do have a lot of business challenges, but still we were able to overcome these challenges because we were adapting the latest technology trends, and at the same time we are also trying to basically make people getting trained within the organizations. But now with the COVID situation and everything got changed, and we are not in a position to now get the people basically to join the companies or organizations, because we have seen enough reports coming out from every organization saying that even though they have given the hours, but at the last moment people are not basically joining it, right? So I mean the joining ratio has significantly dropped. And at the same time, how do we really address these particular skill gap issues and people, and especially at the end of the day, the emerging trends and technologies typically for every organization, right? So that is where DNP is providing the staffing services which are unique from overall staffing and training purposes. And within that staffing and training offers, one basically the the near shore, that means we will basically deploy our senior resources to the near shore, to the complete client capabilities perspective, and we will send it to the client locations, and we will make sure they are basically working with them directly, and they are also kind of understanding it, right? And the another important aspect to it is we will bring in the RTD program approach, right? So that is our unique approach. How do we develop it within the program, within the DNP services, right? So we recruit people, we train people within, and then we are going to deploy it. Okay, so this will help basically in client delivery. And at the same time, when we talk about different types of services, like I said, right, one is nearshore, and second one is role based, and the third one is we do have and we do provide business and functional analysts, and we are also having data engineers, and we are also having testing analysts and trainings perspective. If we talk about it, we collaborate with 360 TMG, and we have done many of training programs that is related to, it could be a corporate training, it could be online or web based, it could be a physical classroom trainings also we do provide, right? And why do we really basically unique, as I said, we will bring in our thought leadership and technology projects with our industry focus to domain solutions, and at the same time IT staff development, and we will provide the comprehensive workforce management solutions by having customer being the first priority for us. And second, personalized approach. What this means is we do have a senior lead. Every organization will be having one dedicated senior lead from DNP, where they will be coordinating with the organization, and they will have an end-to-end spectrum of services, and it will be a single point of contact for them. And the third being cultural fitment, as we know. And for example, if we talk about US based cultures, and again at the end of the day, European based culture companies are also there, so that way we will also provide them the cultural fitment training classes for them, so that when they have been deployed to the client locations, it is good for them to understand how typically their cultures are, and how do they really kind of have to behave with their clients in their respective geographies or the locations. Okay, with that said, technology focus is also one of the major area where we typically bring in people from diversified backgrounds, and we will try to basically help them out how typically within the data management space, what are the key areas that they need to be focused on, and how do we really help them to groom, basically starting from the zero level, that is like freshers or junior level, 0 years of experience, and down the line 5 years, how they want to look themselves in the organization, and how do they really grow in their career. So that way the career progression or the career path that we basically put together a framework, 0 years, 5 years, and 10 years. So this is our typical 10-year roadmap that we will be typically showcasing it to the resources whoever we have in our DNP. And successful results, of course, I think by looking at the clients and the success stories that are going to be kind of speaking about it, we don't have to specifically speak. But given that since we have established 1.5 years ago this DNP services, now that we have been kind of empaneled with the top 4 consulting companies, like for example Capgemini, we have been empaneled, we have been supporting very strongly with 360 TMG, as we all know. And then Innodatatics is another company where the consulting software company, and again we are also kind of working closely with Deloitte and so on. So with that said, the establishment and we are staying connected with the organizations, that also helps basically bring in multiple workforces together, and we understand the problems from the different organizations, and we develop one common approach. How do we really address it for? Okay. So with that said, let me move on. What are the different solution offerings and the go-to-market strategies that what we have right now? So within master data management space, with our dedicated resources, as I said, through our innovation lab, we understand what exactly the market and business needs. How do we really define the solutions by understanding that landscape, and how we engage the multiple partners that could include your overall clients. At the same time, we also deal with the multiple system integrator vendors and the technology partners or technology vendors like Informatica and Reltio. And we also talk about a lot of other SAP, Oracle, all traditional vendors also, right? So that is where we are collaborating with various product companies, and we will create the best of best solutions based on the industry trends and how do we really approach it for. So for example, I would like to talk about, there are 3 major products that what we have at this point in time, AI and ML power-based matching. So like I said, if we take a step back of 10 years, how data management and how master data is being getting created, it's all about single domain and on-premise. And we are also having very high level data governance policies and workflow management processes. But now every client is global in nature, and every client wants to do multiple domains, not just only customer, not just only product. They would like to do multiple domains like customer, product, vendor, material, supplier, and it could be anything, right? And by increasing that particular demand with respect to the MDM space, and also it has grown up like anything, the data, as I said, exponentially growing every day by day. And is it something that we need to think through it a little bit from the data science and AML point of it? Yes, of course. This is the time basically where we would like to apply and bring in our AI and ML power-based mechanisms to apply on top of master data programs. And that is where when we go for match rules and when we try creating that complete master data processes, we will also leverage the AI and ML power-based matching techniques like neural networks and Python codings and everything in the background. And that will definitely help, and it will provide potential savings through our solutions to the clients. And that will give them a complete picture even before they understand what type of data that they are going to look like, right? So before the data is getting published into their reporting structures, through our AML power based matchings, we will be able to showcase them. If they have like 100 records, out of 100 records, how many are duplicates, how many are original golden records for you, and how your report is going to look like. And that is really going to have a transactional attributes to attach to it, right? For example, there is a customer called um, Rob Millinson, and this person has done a transaction so and so location, right? For a typical enterprise level reporting structure, if at all we have to create, and this information will be flowed to the downstream applications. But this AI and ML power based mechanism will help them even before they reach to the publishing of the report. Okay. And predictability also, it is very powerful in there. That is one solution that we are providing it. And second, basically the data model and architectural templates, which we have already talked about it. And three, real-time API ingestion frameworks, where nowadays the data is getting ingested, not just only from the traditional ETL processes and the layers, but also there are direct API ingestion frameworks where we typically talk about, sorry. Yeah. So where they are directly talk about uh, ingestion frameworks. And this is where the real-time Java enabled API frameworks, we have created a complete framework where we will bring in the data from the internal and external sources also. And that's how we typically move on for. So with that said, I think that is it from the DNP software standpoint. And further any questions you may have to, or maybe feel free to reach out to saisai@dnpsoftware.com. And we will be definitely happy to help you out with. And DNP, we are hiring data management professionals, and technologies are data quality, data management, data master data, and data governance, and data quality and catalogings and etc. Okay, so that's
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. Sai, for that very, very informative address that you have given today. I'm sure there'll be many people who would be touching base with you on your mail ID for any job openings, etc. And thank you very much once again. It was a pleasure to hear from you. Thank you.